Hello everybody, my name is Corey, this is Whole Views, and I'm here to talk to you about a new Netflix movie called The Old Guard. The Old Guard, which just dropped on Netflix this weekend, it is starring Charlize Theron, KiKi Layne, as well as featuring Chiwetel Ejiofor. This movie was a real good movie, very good, well-paced action film, extremely well done, extremely entertaining. I'm going full spoilers here to talk about the movie, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Come back and watch this, and by the way, subscribe to this channel, like this video if you enjoy my movie reviews and breakdowns. So let's get into it. Okay, so I already started off by saying that The Old Guard was very well done. Listen, it was extremely well done. The action scenes were crisp, all the stunt work was great, the fight scenes very well coordinated. I couldn't have asked for anything better. KiKi Layne is introduced in this movie as kind of the lead, like Charlize Theron carries a good portion of it. But KiKi Layne is also heavily featured as far as the leading lady is concerned, and you can see that this film, if you watch the whole thing, it's kind of setting up a franchise in which you can pass off the action to KiKi Layne and others and still have that star power of Chiwetel Ejiofor and Charlize Theron kind of in the background. I enjoyed KiKi Layne's military career. I specifically enjoyed the scenes in which she was alienated from her co-workers. Well, I say co-workers, but her fellow Marines. Like she was kind of like alienated because of the way she was killed in action and then revived. I think that was a pretty accurate depiction of how she would kind of be singled out, and I think in those scenes, KiKi Layne carried it very, very well. But we'll get back to her and her acting skills and how it shows and doesn't show a little bit later. Let's stick to the positive. Again, as a Christian watching this film, I felt like in the beginning of the movie, the airplane scene in which Charlize Theron kind of like dismisses the idea of God, I felt like, man, this is super disrespectful. But I'm glad that I stuck with watching it and then continued to watch, because they give you character backstory which could lead you to believe that she might have been around during biblical times, just been around that long. Also, when you see her backstory kind of develop and you see all the fighting that she's seen and all the terror that she's seen over the years, it gives a little context to how a person could come to so easily dismiss the idea of God, and it made sense. So even if that scene might turn you off, stick with it, push through, because it'll make sense in context later. Another thing that people might look at me and say like, man, why would you say that's positive? I guess it's just because of where I am right now in the world and my perspectives on things. But there is a gay scene in which, well, there's two gay characters. Not really a big deal, but there's a scene in which they're like in the back of a van being transported somewhere, and in this scene, one of the gay couples, like one of the soldiers, kind of like tries to disrespect the other guy, the captive. He's like, oh, he's your boyfriend. The gay guy just put him in his place. It was one of the most appropriate uses of checking somebody that I've ever seen in a movie. And it was so well done. I don't know. I think that, the delivery of this little speech that he gave, as well as the reaction to the military men in the van at the time, was kind of like just taken aback. Like, wow, I've never been checked so hard in my life. Right along with that, there was a kiss that followed, and the reaction of the soldiers was also kind of appropriate, that they kind of like looked at each other like, what are we supposed to do now? Just let him kiss? And then you see them all kind of just like, stop all that damn kissing. Like, it was cool. It was cool to see him like question what was going on, but then just have this knee-jerk reaction. I don't know. I found that scene to be like wildly appropriate and also very, very funny. I laughed out loud at that scene. That was a good scene. And although he's not heavily featured in the film, like he's not in every scene, he's not all throughout the movie, there's moments where he goes away. I just feel like I would be doing a disservice if I didn't say that Chiwetel Ejiofor is a great actor. Every scene that he was in was well done, very well carried. I enjoyed it a whole lot. And from there, let's take that Chiwetel Ejiofor being great and let's move into some of the negatives of things that kind of stood out in my mind. One being the acting of KiKi Layne. So I'm not here to like bash her. She has some real good movie credits to her name. I think she was in If Beale Street Can Talk and like other award nominated films. That's not what I'm here to like down. I actually think she's a good actress. I think that if they're passing the franchise from like action led by Charlize Theron to action led by Kiki Layne, great. I think it's a good choice. But she is young, and she is not nearly as well seasoned as an actor or an actress, however you want to put it. Not nearly as seasoned as Chiwetel Ejiofor and Charlize Theron. And I am not the only person who noticed this when I spoke with a few friends about it who watched the movie, enjoyed the movie. But we all could kind of tell that her scenes with the character of Booker, totally fine. Her scenes in the military, totally fine. But her scenes on screen with Charlize Theron and her scenes on screen with Chiwetel Ejiofor, something just wasn't right about them. They just seemed like Chiwetel and Charlize Theron are here and Kiki Layne is right here. That's not a bad thing. Like, I'm not saying that they blew her out of the water in all her scenes, but I will say there was a noticeable difference between when she was on screen with lesser actors and when she was on screen with Charlize or Chiwetel. Now, if you want to call that a negative, I would call it that, and that's the only reason why I put it in the negative part of the video. The only other negative, and I call it a nitpick about the movie, I didn't care for the score particularly. I feel like they used a lot of rap music that not necessarily took me out the movie, but I just didn't care for it. The one scene specifically I think of is a church scene where Charlize Theron like mows through a squad of soldiers, and it's like it's some type of rap song or like techno sounding beat playing in the background, and I just didn't care for it. Just didn't care for it that much. But besides that, I have no complaints. The movie was great. You can clearly see that they're leaving it open for a sequel. You can clearly see that they're setting up a franchise. I had a feeling when they get to like the little post-credit scene that it would be something involving the lost comrade at the bottom of the sea. But I am very, very anxious to see how did they get her. And I heard one prediction that she would be a villain in the coming of film. I don't know, but I hope not. I like to see all the immortals like get together again and go against someone, but the idea that was pitched to me makes a whole lot of sense. And I'm not gonna steal my homeboy's thunder. Just know that there are people out there with theories that make a good bit of sense about the next film in this franchise and the potential for her to be a bad guy. Anyway, if you like this video, please leave a like on the video. Please subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, please follow the channel, share this video. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me. I enjoyed Old Guard. I think you would enjoy Old Guard as well. Enjoy yourself and guard your heart. And we'll see you on the next one.